Hey, what's happening, man? Um, I've got a real pet peeve. You really shouldn't expose your Achilles heel, but this is definitely one of mine. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm never guilty of it myself, which is why I welcome people correcting me when I'm wrong. I honestly think that most people care about being correct. They just have different schools of thought as to what's correct, and they have different ways of approaching it. Prove me wrong because I want to be right. What I mean by this is if I've demonstrated myself to be wrong and you know the correct answer, don't leave me hanging. Just like if I have a booger hanging out of my nose, don't leave me up. By all means, correct me. It's called learning. That's the best way to be correct, is to find out what is correct and adhere to that. Make sure it can be demonstrated. Like when your teacher taught you math, they work the problems out on the board, it can be shown, it can be measured. It's the information age. And though there's a lot of bad information as well as excellent information, if you dig back deep enough, you can find things, including a lot of correct answers. Anywho, thank you. Back to my pet peeve. It makes me want to detune my eardrums when I hear people say things the wrong way. I swear for God. Wait, bitch. You swear for God? What? God don't know the words? He's not allowed to say the word? So you have to swear for him, her, it, whatever it's supposed to be. The correct phrasing is I swear to God. Maybe there's substitution of the word for the word to. It's just them trying to live biblically, and it's not in the courtroom sense. By the way, I find it funny that in the courtroom they have you swear to tell the truth on a book full of lies. I'm going to nip it in the butt. Don't you mean nip it in the bud, like a plant? When you nip a plant in the bud, you keep it from growing. You stop the problem before it really gets started. Nipping it in the butt means you're biting it on the booty. Each one is worse than the next. Wait up. Is that supposed to be a complaint or a bright outlook? I mean, think about it. If each one, whatever you're talking about, is worse than the one after it, which is what next means, that means the one after it is less worse. So things are kind of improving. What you probably meant to say was each one was worse than the last, which would mean that things are getting progressively worse. Man, let me ask you something. Nah, man, let me ask you something. Why your mama let you skip so many days of school? Man, I know I said that wrong, but irregardless, do you realize that changing the word regardless to irregardless turns that word into a double negative? Go Google double negative. New year, new me. I made a 360-degree turn. Do you know how degrees work? Doesn't sound to me like you changed anything. You just stopped and did a dance move, kept on in the same direction. You're happy about not changing. Man, it's a doggy-dog world. Yeah, man, I like that song too. But if you're talking about how competitive the world is, didn't you mean a dog-eat-dog world? I think so. But maybe you didn't mean that because that's not what you said. Man, you taking me for granted. No, I may be taking you for granted. But the only thing I'm taking for granted is your brain. There's a lot of old sayings that people often get incorrect as well. Probably because they've heard them wrong. But once you learn them right, don't perpetuate. A common one is curiosity killed the cat. And I think people use that to mean
don't be nosy.
But the actual phrase is curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought him back. It's a play on the myth that cats have 9 lives. So although his curiosity killed him, he had 8 more lives, and being satisfied by finding out the right answer brought him back. Curiosity is a good thing. You just have to be careful how you use it. Another phrase that people fuck up and totally change the meaning of is blood is thicker than water. No, baby, no. They use that to mean your relationship with your family should be stronger than any other relationship you have. The whole phrase is actually the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. They're not using the word blood here to mean blood is in your family. They are saying the blood of the covenant, the relationship you make with somebody else, whether they're family or not, is stronger than the bond between you and your family, the water of the womb. In other words, you're not really tied tighter to people simply because you're related to them. It's who you're actually tighter with. Here's the bottom line. Look into things. Simply because you've been hearing things a certain way all your life, or you've been taught things a certain way, doesn't necessarily mean they're right. Maybe you're pronouncing things incorrectly, which can change the whole meaning of what you're trying to say. There's these things called dictionaries. Sometimes there's information missing. Sometimes there's extra information that's been added that's not supposed to be there. Don't get pissed off at or be afraid of being corrected. That'll leave you in ignorance. We're all ignorant about something, and none of us will ever know everything. Learn about as much as you can and put it into practice. Dismissed. Go play. I'd like to say thanks to all my subscribers, and a special shout out to my latest subscribers, Red and my boy Larry A. And as always, mi amor, see the box.